Next up, we're doing a single dumbbell RDL. The advantage of doing a single dumbbell is that it just takes pressure off the lower back. So what you want to do is situate your feet directly under your hips with your toes pointed straight. Now from there, you want to make sure you cup that dumbbell quite comfortably, hold it between your thighs, and keep it slightly underneath your groin. So instead of bringing it in front, because then you're overextending the movement and you're putting too much pressure in your lower back. So all you want to do is just probably tuck it under and leave it there. And that's a good cue, a good technique to carry over to a barbell RDL as well, because you never want to lock out. You'll take tension off the hamstrings. Now, the next point is the knees. You want to make sure there's a little bit of slack to the knees, but not too much. So what I mean by that is there's a stiff-legged posture, which is probably like close to 95% lockout, and then what that will do is bias the hamstrings a lot more. But because we want to engage the lower glute fibers, we want to have a slight bend in the knees in order to allow us to get more flexion through the hips, push them back. So it's quite simple. All you do is just position yourself from the starting point here, and then you there. Okay, so if you bend too much, you disengage all the posterior chain, overactivate the quads. If you have it too straight, too much pressure in your lower back, and then you're biasing hammies. So find your mid-ground and then fire up and pull. Now, two things I want you to remember is as you go down, you want to imagine you're driving your hips only back to the walls behind you or whatever is behind you, and keep your ass up to the roof. Keep it up to the roof, don't let it drop to the ground. Now, when you're coming up, you want to keep your toes grounded, and then you want to push your feet into the floor and stand up and squeeze this region here, keeping your abdomen locked in as well. Very important. A mistake people make is when they go down, they tend to lift their toes up. Don't do that, it's unnecessary. Lastly, as you go down, you also want to imagine you're stretching the floor. So you're not only applying pressure into the floor, but you're pushing out like that, like you're trying to stretch the floor. And then what that'll do is engage the lateral hamstrings as well.